Well, hello, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us today. And my name's Christian McNeill, and I host monthly Three Principles conversations with a number of different facilitators, teachers, and so on in the field. And tonight, November, I'm really delighted to be hosting my good friend Janet Rhynie, who I have known since I first got into this work a little over 10 years ago. So. Yeah, Janet, thank you so much for agreeing to do this, and it'll be lovely because we haven't spoken for a wee while. I haven't really, or I certainly haven't spoken about our the work, and it'll be lovely to hear what you are up to, and why you chose the title that you chose for tonight's call, which is Courage to Change, and that, of course, is a title I'm very familiar with because it's part of the Serenity Prayer, which is said at every AA meeting that I've ever been to, and their number is legion. And so, yeah, I'm very curious to see why you chose that, Janet, and to hear a little bit about what you're doing, and perhaps just a very potted version for anyone who doesn't already know you or hasn't heard you before, about how you got into this. Or
Well,
so choose any part of that. Start whatever you like. Yeah.
Oh, first of all, thanks a lot, Christian, for asking me. I mean, you do and play such an important role within the principals community, which is hosting these monthly conversations with people who sometimes can be deemed to be on the fringes of the principals community. And I think it's always wonderful to hear these different voices. So thank you. I appreciate the fact that you continue to do this. I'm so excited that I'm here for November. For those that do not know me, Christian said, Janet Rhynie. You can see the background. I'm a quantum change coach. That's a more recent addition to my arsenal of titles. But if I start at the beginning, really quickly, how I got into the principles, I wasn't as everybody, we were looking for something. I was looking for something else, and I was actually on an NLP master practitioner course when the principles, I first started to hear whisperings of the principles. Jamie Smart was running a program, and his mentor Aaron Turner came into the room, and I always remember seeing this, in my words, and it's said with love, but this Diddy man just coming into the room and just having this presence about him, and I'm like, who's that guy who's just walking in here with all of this confidence? Like I said, it was Aaron Turner. And having met Aaron and then gone to the first Three Principles conference in Tikkun, where I saw a video of Roger Mills talking about the work that he had done in Modelo. And it's when I was seeing the people and hearing them talk about their health and well-being, it's what came into me was, oh my gosh, this is what I've been looking for. And then the next thought was, I'm going to spend the rest of my life learning this so I can teach it. And so that has led to a decade's worth of journeying in and out and around the principles, depend upon my state of consciousness and state of awareness. So yeah, that's really potted history.
Well, thanks. And I was just going to say, for anyone who isn't familiar with it, Modelo was a big community project that took place in Florida. I mean, quite a long time ago now, where the principles were, and understanding the principles was at the heart of it. And like you, I don't think I'd heard you say that before, but like you, when I first encountered this, and also when I was looking for something else, I thought I was on a different kind of course. I had that really powerful sense. In my case, it was simply, I'm going to be involved in this for the rest of my life. I didn't even know that there would be a route to, to teaching or being a practitioner or coaching people. But yeah, anyway, yeah, thanks, Janet. Thanks for bringing us up to that date and your curvy path since then.
Yeah.
So why the courage to change? Why did you choose that title?
Well, in the last probably 4 or 5 years, in looking at the principles per se, what I've been drawn to is looking more at mind, the spiritual nature of who and what we truly are. And so in diving into that rabbit hole, it's just more recognizing that, you know, we are the principles, we are spirit, our true nature is essence, is spiritual. And so in looking in that direction, I then, I suppose, looking at some of the issues and the problems that people who, when they come to me for one-to-one coaching, what they're coming with, which is about fear and lack of confidence. Now, on one level, confidence can be about your, I suppose, the confidence in yourself, the confidence in your abilities. It's that belief about yourself. But when I was looking at this in the spiritual nature, what came to me was courage. Because courage is something that we're already born with. We already have that. It protects us, it guides us if we are open to listening to that. And what I realized was that courage comes before confidence. And so when we're talking about change, people come to me because they want the confidence to change, but it's not confidence that I look towards, it's the courage. And so that came with the courage to change. And then and in addition to that, why it resonated and was so familiar to me was that at home with my parents, I had a little glass, like a cheapy plastic stained glass thing with the prayer of serenity in it. And I still have it actually to this day. My parents have died since, but I still have that. And it is, you know, the prayer of serenity. God grant me the great, you know, God grant me the grace
Serenity
to
accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
That's right. And it was always it's like every day when I used to look out of the window, that plaque was always there, and just reading it over and over again. And it is, I suppose, it reminded me, it is the courage to change, not the confidence to change. It's not what I do and what I believe in myself. It's the knowing I am the courage to change. So yes, a lot of the work that I'm doing now is always about pointing people, not even pointing people. I remember Keith Blevins saying once that Sydney Banks said, our only job is to go around tapping people on the shoulder and waking them up.
Nice.
And that's what I believe where I'm at right now. It's about waking up to our true essence, waking up to our true nature. When we understand what we are, understanding that courage is what we are, that change can be effortless because we are more than the thoughts that we're having. We're more than the beliefs we have. We are that which is behind the beliefs. We are that which is everything and part of everything.
Yeah, it's so interesting, Janet, because until I stumbled into the principles, I was very familiar with that prayer, but it wasn't like hugely helpful because I was often trying to change things in my life and the outside in order to try and make myself feel better, because I didn't know that things outside myself didn't have the power to change how I felt. And and because I had that sort of that missing, that part of the jigsaw was missing, so there really was a missing link for me. You know, I was putting a lot of energy into shifting things that really didn't matter, and I just couldn't have the wisdom to know the difference. And so once we understand that as you say that that we really do have everything that we need within our essence is that our essence is of power, creativity, resilience, resourcefulness, insight, then we don't need to be changing the outside so much. And yet there are moments when it is time to make a change, but it's not in order to sort of fix how we're feeling. It's because it's guided from within. It's the right thing to do for us. It's the so that whole thing fell into sharp focus for me once I kind of had an understanding of where my experience comes from, i.e. within. It's the whole of my experience is thought created, and that there was this powerhouse that was available. And often, like you talk about people coming to get confidence and looking for confidence, and one of the sort of qualities that I've had many conversations with people about, they think they're missing self-esteem, and this is a thing that they can work on it. But it just seems to be that as you understand the principles, the level of self-esteem comes and goes in the moment, depending on what we're thinking about. But it's not that's not really what matters. That once we have that certainty that who I am is unbroken and whole and enough, I don't need to be feeling tip top, full of confidence, full of self-esteem in every moment, because there's a fundamental okayness underneath that's never diminished.
And I think that's it, isn't it? It's the illusion. The illusion is so powerful that we're led to believe that we can fix things within by looking outside of ourselves, even to seek help from someone else. And it is because we have forgotten that which we are. And even when, like you said about self-esteem, how we feel about ourselves is also a construct of thought, which is also based upon the silent program that's running. We forget about the values and beliefs that we filter our thoughts through, so we can make decisions upon. And what I'm pointing to is when I say it's not who you are, it's what we are. We forget we are these amazing, phenomenal energy, the powerhouse that we are. That's why when I said that I'm a unicorn, for a couple of years I was telling people I'm a unicorn. Absolutely a unicorn, believing it to the core of my heart. I remember doing a group, and so people who don't know, I sometimes go back into criminal justice in probation, and I've run groups within probation. And with lots of groups, you'll do a warm-up exercise. And normally it's like, tell us one thing that we can't tell by looking at you. Tell us one thing about yourself we can't tell by looking at you. Everybody goes around the room, and I've not met these guys, probably about 7 or 8 men, committed offences, don't want to be in the room. Tell us one thing about yourself. And they were going around reluctantly and came to me like, I'm a unicorn. And they looked, but I was not challenged. They did not challenge me because I said it with such confidence. And it's because when a person said to me once, why do you say a unicorn? I said, because unicorns are mythical, magical, powerful creatures. And that's what I believe that we are. We are phenomenal. And we forget how amazing we are. And it's not the person, like I say, it's not Janet the persona, it's not Janet the person, it's the essence, which is Janet, which powers the avatar, which is Janet. That's the power that comes through. And if we remember that more often, then, as you said, self-esteem is irrelevant. Confidence is irrelevant. I'm going to be sacrilegious now. The principles are irrelevant, because the principles are metaphors pointing towards that which is. And so when we truly experience what we are, everything else, I say fades, but also then you can see like the system at play. Anybody who knows me know I love the matrix. So I like to see the code. And to me, the principles are like the code. We see how we're creating our experience moment by moment, and we're the power that's creating that experience in the moment as well. So yes, I think that's the, like I said, the great illusion is that there's something outside of ourselves, and we need to do something in order to fix that. But what we're after is a feeling, an experience. And if we recognize and know that the experience doesn't change anything, if we can look and see ourselves, accept ourselves, and know ourselves for what we truly are, this powerhouse, then you start to see the game of life. You start to see life as a game at times. And so I suppose one of the other things that you asked me was about what am I doing now? I've always believed that my purpose was to, I suppose, speak to those people who had no understanding of the principles. I'm not one to really preach to the converted. I love the principles community, but you know, there's lots of people in there doing their good stuff. And there's millions of people that have no idea that this understanding can release them from some of the torment that they have within their lives. And so, because I have worked within criminal justice, working with male and female offenders in the community, so when they're released from prison or sentenced to a community sentence, and I love that because it keeps me sharp. I can't be making a fluffy, ethereal comments that we can, you know, get into this lovely feeling in the principles communities, because these are people that need real solutions for their life. You know, meeting them where they are, that they truly feel that life is against them, that society is against them, that they have no power. And to be able for them to just have a glimpse of how powerful they are is, I say, is what keeps me sharp, but also gives me the greatest joy that somebody actually starts to see themselves as who they truly are. And in doing that as well, it's about how can I reach more people? So apart was to say, because I'm getting older and I'm getting tired, I'm sorry. I mean, I can see some of the I say that the people who've been around here for a while, and I'm, you know, I respect you for the energy that you have, but Janet's getting tired. I'm getting tired. So it's about looking at different ways of how to share this understanding with people who do not have hundreds, thousands of pounds in order to invest in this. So I have been looking in the direction of placing what I know and my expertise in online programs, just little snippets as well that just allow people to have the slightest insight, just pointing them towards themselves. And that's been an interesting journey in and of itself, because having an understanding of the principles is amazing and is wonderful, and it can change. We know it can change lives. But in understanding the business behind it so that it can be shared with more people, that's been a really fascinating journey. And again, it was that courage to change part. It was the, oh, no, I don't need to have a structure around this. No, let's just be in the moment. It's like when you're putting something online and you're not going to be there, how do you translate that? In letting go of what I've seen established teachers within the principals community do in order to have, I said, the courage to change, just to look within and say, well, Janet, you know this community more than anybody else. How can you reach them? What makes it accessible? And no matter what other people say, to have the courage to continue along that path. And that's been really fascinating in the past couple of years, just learning how to, learning the more practical marketing structure. I mean, it wasn't alien to me, because as you said, when I came into the principals community, I already had a training and facilitation company. So I know how to write a program, and I had to structure a program, and I had to write bids. But it's like coming through the experience of being in the principals community and what I'd heard, it was like, okay, then working in this way is not the only way to share this understanding. How else can it be done? And it may not be the same as other people have done, but continue to follow, as you said, that wisdom, and to have the courage to turn around and say, you know what, I know that this is right for who I want to serve right now.
Very cool. Are you open to some questions or conversation?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Because we have some people have joined us, and it really would be lovely to to hear from you. What brought you along tonight? What's nice to see. Some of you I've seen more recently than others. But please do come in. And Birdie, sorry.
Birdie. I love you, Birdie.
Hi,
nice to see you.
Thank you. I love both of you, so I had to come. And I love watching Janet's little episodes on Facebook as well. They're lovely, although I've missed them recently, so I'm not sure if I'm missing them or whether they're not there. But I've been sort of offline for the last 18 months pretty much, because I've had a stroke. I had a stroke in July, not this year, the year before. So I'm still recovering. But it's interesting what you said about how to put the principles out and, the path that you're going to take to reach people. And, I've been working with my mentor still, but I haven't been doing any paid work, of course. And I keep saying I haven't done any work all this time. But it's really interesting when I reflect. I've helped my son with a problem. I've helped my daughter with a problem. I've helped various ex-neighbors. I've helped other people who've had strokes. But just going out and about in the community when I do, which is not very often because I've been sleeping a lot of the time, which is my recovery method, really. And I thought, oh, they've got me working all the way through. And I was so busy at the time. I was really upset because I've started a brand new mentorship program for a year, and I was doing really, really well. I was very, very busy. I was absolutely loving it, which is a big trap. I've realized, because you just keep working because you love it, and you don't realize you're getting tired and you need to take breaks. So I think they decided to take me out of the game for a while. But, as you say, Christian, we have everything we need, because I was sitting on the bed in the hospital and I was thinking, what now? What happens now? Because my mind was completely clear. And I remember the nurse coming in and saying, well, I don't know. And I said, no one knows. I could have another stroke in the next 5 minutes, or I could be here within the next 20 years. So I thought, what now? And then I started watching the clouds going across the sky. And then, of course, I was thinking of the principles. And because it was so boring, I had nothing with me. Just me in the bed, really. And I just wanted to write. And I thought, okay. So I grabbed some paper towel from the wall and started writing. The nurse came and said, oh, I'll give you some proper paper. We can't give you paper. So okay. And I thought it was just odd words. odd sentences with nothing really. And I was just passing the time. And when I came home after 4 days in hospital, all the children were going to the beach. And they said, oh, great, you're home, you can come with us to the beach. Because it picked me up the night before. And I thought, oh, I don't think I want to. I think I want to stay at home. And of course, an hour later, I was sat in the garden having a coffee and I started having all the symptoms, because before I didn't have any symptoms, I thought, and I didn't think I'd had a stroke. And I rang my neighbour, texted my neighbour, and I said, this is what's happened. I think I might, need some help. And he said, I rang the ambulance. And I said, hold on a moment. And I had to go and fetch these papers. And what I'd written were instructions on what to do. Just allow, just be quiet, be in the moment. Don't overthink it. Don't try and, sort of unravel it all and question it. Just be in the moment, peaceful, quiet, And he just went on and on and on like that. So then every time I had, a little nudge, I'd be thinking, right, where's the papers? Sitting in the corner. So I've been looked after all the way through. I needed nothing else. So we just have to listen and follow. Yeah. So I've no idea where I'm going now, what I'm doing, but here I am.
You look great.
Yeah, I do. I didn't when I came home from hospital, because my little granddaughter was there and she said, oh, Nini, you don't look good without makeup. I've been in the hospital for 4 days, and of course I didn't have my wash kit, I didn't have my makeup, I had nothing. So I didn't look, very glamorous when I came home. But my daughter came a couple of weeks later, because COVID came. It was in the middle of COVID, of course, and they were doing my shopping twice a week anyway. And so they used to come to the door, every couple of days. I remember my daughter saying one day, oh my goodness, you look so well, Mum. So I must have looked dreadful before, but nobody said at the time. But yeah, thank you. But it feels good. It feels good to be good. It feels the last couple of weeks I'm making steps forward. Yeah.
Well, it's lovely to see you, and thank you so much for everything that you shared, Birdie.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, and that sounds so beautiful. When you said just grabbing the paper towels and writing, to me what comes is just like that stream of consciousness. You just were writing what was coming to you, and little did you know that though, like he says, that was, I say, what comes your saving grace in those times when you at times when you didn't know, you knew to look towards that, say be within, just to be in that moment, just to allow, and that everything was going to be fine. That's just beautiful. So thank you.
Anyone else? Claire, nice to see
you. Hi. Who's the Mike? Hi, Mike.
Hi, Janet. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing really, really well. How are you?
Choosing the road of happy destiny. I'm good, thank you.
Brilliant.
I'm well 3P today. I've got another one that I've just finished one with Christy and the Mavis, and I'm on this one with yourselves now. And I've got another one at 7:30. I'll have to try and fit some supper in between. I can't get enough of it, to be fair. I'm sorry I missed the start. I was making a cup of tea. But I really enjoyed what you had to say, especially working with ex-offenders, because in my younger days I served 2 prison sentences as well, and addictions, all sorts of stuff. like that. But I have been clean and sober a long time now. But I like what Birdie had to say as well, you know, because I've had sort of the last 15 months my fair share of health problems, and I love your attitude towards it, you know, because I'm trying to get, I haven't got my head around everything that happened to me, because I was in for the heart bypass and caught COVID and sepsis, and then I had other operations, and still ongoing. But I'm good today, but yesterday I was like, phew, I thought I can't take no more of this. You know, when's it going to end? And the worst thing is, people phone you up to ask how you are, and they start giving you sort of, yeah, Mike, you've had a real bad time, you know, and I don't think anybody's ever had a time like this, and it just goes on and on and on, and it pulls you down. I know that they mean well, but it actually pulls me into that place that I don't want to be, Janet, you know, because then self-pity, I think it's the worst emotion I can feel anyways. I feel embarrassed when I realised I've been in that self-pity mode. Yeah, nobody's ever been as bad as me. That's not rubbish, you know. Of course they have been. I'm saying I'm still here, you know. A lot aren't, you know. But yeah, I think it's great that people are starting to look at working with people that want to be ex-offenders, you know, that want to sort their lives out, because there isn't a lot out there. There was nothing when I decided to call it a day, you know. I was literally just hanging on by the skin of my teeth for a long time, you know. But there is more now. There is more now, you know. And it's great that are you going into prisons with the 3Ps or no?
No, I work in the community, so I know there's lots of actually quite a few different prison initiatives now around the world, but I always work with them in the community, so either post when they've been released from prison or they've been sentenced into the community. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, Mike, because like you said, you know, you're around the principles, you're immersing yourself in it, which is wonderful, and I think we've all had that space, been in that space. What is it that resonates with you at this time? What is it about the 3 principles that resonates with you?
Gosh, I've done so many spiritual practices over the years. I think, really, if I'm honest, that there's nothing to do. You know, I don't, you know, I first learned TM 40 years ago, you know what I mean? And then I went on to be also shamanic practitioners, all sorts of stuff. You know, with principles, there really isn't a lot to do. There's nothing to do, in fact. The less you do, the better you are. You know? Right. And that was the real attraction for me. And I've been working with Christian as well quite a bit, you know, and nobody's, you know, I get pointed in the right direction all the time, you know. Don't always like it, because I think, nah, that can't be right, you know, because I do have a judgmental mind. I think, you know, that can't be right. But I'm very much still seeking,
right?
You know, for what? I don't know. I don't know why I'm seeking, because I've already got it. It's a paradoxical answer, you know, and I know this. Yeah, I have to look for something that is already inside me.
Yeah.
And I know this beyond a shadow of a doubt, because I experienced a near-death experience when I wasn't expected to survive last year, you know, and somebody was talking about it. A friend of Christian and I still phoned me today, and we were on about this, and he says, nobody knows what's going on inside us. Well, I do. So we had a good conversation. Another friend that's in the 3Ps and I today, you know. But I just love being around spiritually astute people,
Right.
you know, because it rubs off on me. I'm selfish in that context, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been offered a retreat on the Isle of. I've actually just watched it on telly. It was a Ben Fogle program about the Isle of Error. I didn't know who owned it or anything. It was the Findhorn Foundation, and I just emailed them. So I go there on the 20th, just for a week, you know, for a retreat, and I'm really sort of looking forward to just being part of the community there, and walk after my dog's coming. So I'm taking Labrador, so she's coming along with me, and how did that work? I just watched Ben Fogle, New Lives in the Wild, and now I'm going along to where he's been. You know, that's it's funny the places it takes you. It just flowed. I didn't have to sort of say, look, I've had this and I've had that and I've had the other. It just worked, you know. And that's what I like about the principles. When I can get me out of the way, everything else works.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. But I just can't get enough of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, Mike. And sometimes I forget that there is nothing to do. Just to be. And like you said, when you're saying about that seeking, as far as how I can interpret it, is that as the ego starts to fall away, it reveals different layers. I always think Shrek in the movie compares himself to an onion, and he says, like, I'm complicated, there's layers. And it's that as each of the layers fall apart, there's more of the true you that's revealed. And it's about making sense of this new layer. And like you said, it's like, we know that we have everything within us on one level, but on another level, we're not experiencing that. So we continue to seek, we continue to look. There's a yearning, probably isn't the right word, because that means you're really hungering after something, but maybe there's this quiet, what comes with this gentle tugging towards the truth of what you are, and it won't let you rest. That's what comes to me.
No, I totally get that, Janet, because when I wasn't expected to live, all the layers fell away, everything fell away, and all I could see, even I had nasty doctors, some of them not nice, you know, but some of them were amazing, but even what I'm saying is, even in the nasty doctors, all the illusions fell away from them, and I could just see the love inside them. You just put it perfectly, because that's how I explain it, like the layers of an onion, you know. I don't know how long I was like that, because it was quite a long time. It wasn't minutes or hours. It was days. I've no idea. Could be weeks. But what I seen was the illusion, total disintegration of the illusion of life, and what was important. And really, for this guy here, the only thing that was important to me was my dog. Seriously, you know, I mean, because I live on my own and I have my Labrador, and I remember the nurse asking me, is there anything you'd like? And I said, yeah, I'd just like to go home once and hug my dog, you know? And I suppose if you've got a family, that's what, but the rest's just stuff. It's just stuff, you know? I need 4 holidays in Barbados a year, you know, I need a new car, I need a new house. It's just rubbish. I don't need that to be happy, you know, although I thought I did, you know. I haven't been too happy lately because I've been wrapped up in this with my heart and everything else that's been going on. Yeah, I mean, today's been a good day. Yesterday it wasn't. Yesterday, I mean, I think there was no joy in my life at all. But that's because I was wrapped up in my own thoughts. So I'm diving into the 3 Ps to this one. I'm trying to think about my own thoughts.
Bless you. It's interesting as you're saying that right now. I'm reading Michael Singer's Untethered Soul. And I mean, I read it years ago. I'm in a different space now, and it's interesting how he's saying that you are the observer. You are the one that is watching this experience. You're not the one having the experience. You're the one observing this. And it makes me realize that, like he says, there are moments when you can see and be the love you are and connect with everybody, because you're not seeing the ego and judging people if they're nasty or this, that, and the other. You just are, and you're just connected. And in the next moment, you are that whole experience. And it's being able to flow with the experiences. It's being able to flow with being the observer and seeing what's happening, but also to be that experience and have all of the anger and the hate or whatever emotion, love and joy, just experience, or to hide, because as you know, nothing can hurt our true essence and who we are. We're always fine, we're always okay. So it's okay to ride the roller coaster, knowing that you're always all right, you're okay. Yeah. Thank you.
No, thank
Claire.
you.
Sorry, what did you say then, Mike?
No, I just said thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Welcome. Claire, you got anything to say? I'm not.
Oh, yeah. I've loved it. I've loved listening to you, Janet, and everybody. I always get so much just hearing from other people. You know what you were saying, Janet, about riding the storm. I really would like to get to a place where, Mike has just been saying about having a bad day yesterday. So past few weeks, I've felt like I've had a bad few weeks. It hasn't been continuous, but it has been not good, really. And I'd just love to reach a point where, I'm not uncomfortable with that. Because it's so convincing when it comes along. It just feels so real, doesn't it? I just, I don't know.
You know what, Claire? I don't know if I'll ever get to that place. I know that there are moments that I can see some stuff and it's just like, I'm just a little bit irritated, I'm good. And there are some things, so, when Black Lives Matter last year, for a while, I was in my experience and there was nobody and nothing that could get me out of that. It was irrelevant. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to know. I was having an experience of anger, of disappointment, of frustration. And even though I'm saying I could see it, I could see what I was doing and I understood where those emotions were. I allowed myself to have the experience. I didn't talk myself out of it. I didn't want to be anywhere else. And that's it, because sometimes you have to. This experience is the here and now. It's accepting that this is what's here and now. I didn't like it, but there was no point in fighting it, because I know deep within me is that this is an experience I have to go through. And in going through that experience and speaking to other people, it's helped me to, all I can say, it's helped me to come through the experience. I can't even say that I'm in a better place. All I'm saying is that I've come through the experience and I can look at it and think, wow, it was horrible. And like we said on this call before, it may come again. And I know there continues to be deaths and atrocity, not only with race, but gender. There's so much that hurts my heart, so much. And I allow myself to go through it. I really do, because in knowing and believing that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, this is the experience I'm having. Not to avoid it, not to wish I was somewhere else, because if I could be somewhere else in a different, I would be there. And so this is where I am right now. And so there will be moments when you'll ride it and you'll be fine. And there'll be moments when you can't, and it's okay. It's absolutely, it's you, because eventually it changes. That's the one thing that I do. And I always remember this postcard that I picked up from a gift shop, gosh, must be about 40 years ago. And it says, "This too shall pass." And in my heart, in my most difficult moments, that's what comes back to me. It always does.
Yeah, thank you, Janet. There's a little part of me that sort of thinks, well, if I know the principles, maybe
no. No.
I was hoping to be a sort of Zen being by now.
Yeah, we've all been there. There's stuff like, even in my marriage, I'm now, but even in my marriage, and I'm like, and going through the difficult times, like, I know the principles. I should be in love with my husband. Oh yeah, been there. Doesn't work. And that's where the acceptance comes from. All that's ever is now, is this moment. And rather than trying to fight against the moment, which I'm creating by my thinking, by the way, it's always me. So in recognizing that this is me, it's like, okay, then clearly this is an experience I'm having. I need to embody and have this experience and see how I come out of it, what happens, so that I come through this. And in spite of yourself, you always do. But I think this is, when we see beyond the teachings of the principles, and we experience and know that we are this power, that we're here to have the whole range of experiences, you kind of sit with it and think, well, this is crap. This is really shitty. Let's get on with it. So no Zen Master around here. No Zennies. Sorry.
Oh, thank you. It's that is reassuring, because you hear so many stories. Oh, I've been transformed. I never get depressed now, and all this sort of thing. And I never, you hear of these sort of transformation stories, and I want one.
No, stop it. The thing is, you're having your own transformation, and just because it doesn't look like the way you think it should, you're going to miss it. Stop it.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Lovely. Thanks, Claire. Thanks for sharing. Janet, I know that you have something else at the top of the hour, and we're coming to the end of our time. I just wanted to ask you a couple of things to finish. So you've shared that you're doing some work from time to time in the community, in the criminal justice system. You're doing your online program at the moment, but you're also available to work with one-to-one clients. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I'm creating a portfolio of all the things that I enjoy.
And where can people contact you for that?
So yes, you can contact me, email me actually at janet@janetrhynie.com. I also have a website, janetrhynie.com, which then leads to my other website called Quantum Change Coach.
I'll put a link to your website on the recording notes. So I just want to say thank you so much for doing this. It's been lovely to spend time with you. It's been lovely to be part of the webinar. Is there anything that you would like to say just to close this out today?
Well, first of all, thank you everybody who has contributed, who has shared. That's what makes these conversations so rich, that we all share with each other. And I think what comes to me to share is, you're perfect. We are perfect in our imperfection. And to be with whichever experience we're having in the moment, because that is, even though we may not enjoy it, but that is perfect for that moment.
Lovely. Lovely. Thank you again, Janet, and thank you everyone who's joined the call. I really appreciate it, and take care.